All right, welcome back to TML Weekly. This is episode 3 of the playoff preview, presented by Bjorn and Don Cherry Sports Grill. Lots to talk about ahead of Game 3 tonight back in Toronto. First things off, we're going to start with Mitch Marner and the Toronto Sun. Don, what do you think?
Well,
put it on the screen right now, quick. People can see.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, we got graphics now. Look at this, everybody. We're stepping our game up. We got graphics. So listen, before we get into too much on the Steve Stimmons piece, just for everybody watching, Johnny is in transit back to the East Coast, so he won't be with us tonight. But we're waiting for his prediction. With regards to the headline. If you haven't seen it, there it is. Twitter has been on fire all day today. And I want to be critical. I want to be critical of the Sun for running it. But, man, it's really hard. It's hard to be critical of the paper because if we're going to be honest, Mitch Marner's got 1 goal in his last 11 playoff games. Remember, Mitch Marner said to everybody, I want the money. He didn't take a hometown discount as a Toronto kid. He played hardball. He demanded the money. He said he was the guy. When you say you're the guy and you demand the money, you get the scrutiny. Listen, do I hope Mitch Marner, if you go back, and Nolan, you can testify to this. I said at the beginning of the series, the only way we win is if Mitch Marner's the best player or the second best player on both teams. And I really believe that. He hasn't been the first 2 games. He's been milk box Mitch again, just missing. I don't know where he's been. You were even saying on Saturday night, was it Saturday night? What was the last game we played? Monday night. The route that he took to avoid the hit, to avoid the contact. And, I mean, he's got the wheels. He could have beat him to the puck. I don't like that. That's not a great look. But unfortunately, that's what he's getting painted as. And, is it a deserving reputation? I mean, if you look at his points overall, he's been there, over the duration of his playoff career. I think, though, if you go back and you look at them, he'll get 4 points in a 6-2 win. Do you know what I mean? He's not in a close game. He's often missing in action. The one interesting take that I heard today was with the way that Matthews has played with Domi. For years, it was always Matthews needs Marner. Are we starting to see here that maybe Marner needs Matthews?
Yeah, that could definitely have some merit to it. I mean, they both should be able to drive their own line, realistically, with the price tag that they're both at. So it'd be ideal to have them both split up and have them each drive their own line. But, I like Domi in the line with Matthews. He seemed to fit really well. He's like similar playmaking abilities as Marner, but he actually forechecks, can get the puck, and defend Matthews. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm with you 100%. For me, I keep seeing it. If you're on Twitter at all and you follow the Leafs or you're in a Leaf chat on Facebook or something like that, the common phrase that I hear about people talking about Marner is he's small and he doesn't want the physicality and that kind of things. And I just want to remind everybody, he's the same size as Gilmore was. He's the same size as Wendell. And for all of you people that are going to watch me now and say, John, that was 35 years ago and the game's not played like that and it's different, I'll give you a modern example. He's the same as Braden Point. Same size, same guy, same everything.
Might even be bigger than Point.
I'm just saying, when have
Marchand too?
Like, it's not about the size of the dog, man. It just isn't. And again, I don't expect Mitch Marner to go into the corner against Ryan Reeves. Nobody in their right mind is saying that. But you've got to initiate. You got to have a little nasty, I I hate to use the word snot because that's the commercialized tree living kind of attitude. But you got to have a little fire in the belly. And I part of what worried me, and I said this the other night too, was we haven't seen him in front of the press for the first 2 games after the games. And that kind of worried me. I didn't like that. I know he spoke briefly this morning and said he's okay with the pressure. He likes the pressure. It makes diamonds and all of that good stuff. So hey, listen, I hope he does. And for the record, and I'm going on record here again, Nolan. I'm telling you, Mitch Marner is going to have a monster game tonight. He's going to have a big game tonight.
What do you see stat line looking like?
I think the Leafs. I won't throw my prediction out now, but I'm going to go with at least 2 points. I'm going to go with a goal and a helper tonight.
Okay.
And most of all, I think he's going to be visible in the game. And I think above all else, even if he only gets an assist, or even if he doesn't get on the score sheet, as long as he is a visible impact player in the game, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. That's my take on Mitch. Listen, he's a hometown kid, and this playing in the playoffs in Toronto, especially at his age, wearing the number 16 jersey means something. That means something. And I hope to him, it means as much to him as it means to all of us watching, because it's a big deal. It's a big deal right now. And game 3 at home, boy, I really think we want this one tonight, eh?
Yeah, for sure. You don't want to get yourself into another hole like after game 1.
No.
You want to get back ahead of this thing. Just moving on to Samsonov now. So game 1 against Boston.
Not good.
4 goals, 4 goals on 28 shots, I believe.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
And at 8:33. Game 2, 2 goals on 29 or 31, sorry, and at 9:31. So definitely a much better game.
So listen, I'm gonna eat my words on this, especially after the end of that first period where they gave up that goal. Which, listen, if even if you're only a casual hockey fan, you could watch that play where both Benoit and McCabe came out high to the point. Marner went for a swim up on the top and didn't realize both defend. It was a disaster of a play. And the puck goes in, and I went, that can't happen. He's got to go, right? Boy, shout out to the coach. Everybody says I only say negative things about the coach. It was a great decision. Great decision to start him. I wouldn't have done it. I would have gone to Wall. But you dance with the girl that brought you. And you know what? He stuck with Samsonov. It proved to be the right thing. I think it was a savvy coaching decision. I also think it was important for the room to have Sammy bounce back and play well in that game. And let's be honest, dude, there were a couple of 10 bell saves in that second and third period. Just absolutely tremendous. Hey, listen, if that's the Samsonov we get, we have more than a shot. If that's the Samsonov we get. If we get second and third period Samsonov, we can play with anybody in the league. Anybody.
For sure. We just need the consistency from him. He hasn't really shown too
It's
much.
been a while.
Obviously, big, tough start to the year, and then put on waivers, comes up, goes on an insane run, and then end of the year falls back off.
But if we're being honest, the insane run, it was a really good record. The record of him in those games was you're right, insane. It's like 19-4, 19-5 or something. However, 60% of those games, he was over three goals a game. And 30% of the games, he was over 4 goals a game. So I always liken it to like a baseball pitcher. The guy could be 20-4, but if his ERA is 5.5, I'd rather have the guy who's, got an ERA at 2.5, right? He's a better pitcher, right? Like, he just doesn't get the run support. So, that's the one thing that does worry me though, is, this is the first time we've seen him only give up a couple. If he can hold the line at 2 goals a game, we know we can score. So,
Sure. Yeah. And finally, first time in, I think, 8 or 9 playoff games, scored more than 2 goals, which is nice to break out of that slump.
You know what? That's not the only one. We got the 0-for-8 monkey off of our back now with Boston. Right?
Yeah.
And that is, I don't care what anybody says. That's psychological. Now you can beat them. You can beat them. It's different to think you can beat a team. Now you can beat them.
Yeah.
And this will kind of dovetail nicely into the next point. We got 88 coming back. So we beat them without 88.
Yeah. So William Nylander is finally almost confirmed. Not sure if it's 100% yet, but
the coach hasn't confirmed it. But Chris Johnson, they don't get much more reputable as far as sources go. I feel like if Chris Johnson says he's going to play, unless something magically terrible happens between 5:30 and 7, I think it's pretty good that he's going to play.
Yeah.
So
the NHL, on the NHL app, they released the projected lineups earlier in the day. I looked, Nylander's on it, on the third line there. So and he was seen at practice day, taking reps with the line of Yarncroke, Holmberg, Nylander. So that basically just bumps Robertson out of the lineup. And you have the all Swedish third line, which I don't know. What do you think about that?
Listen, all I know is if it was me and I was Keith Pelly or Brandon Shanahan or Brad Treliving or the coach or anybody that had access to either one of those 3 players, I would come down and I would give them a Sweden jersey to wear underneath, because everybody, when they put on the Sweden jersey, automatically become better players. So I'm saying, let's try it out. Let's put Sweden jerseys on everybody, leaf jerseys on top, just see what happens. I'm down for that. Swedish players in Toronto have a fantastic history.
I too.
Salming, Sundin, on to where we are now, man. I've got no problem. I'm all for a Team Sweden third line. 100% I'm in.
Yeah. So what do you think, like the past couple of days, seeing Nylander on the ice at practice and stuff, shooting around, having a good time, laughing with the guys, and then all of a sudden, nope, can't play?
Okay, so listen. If it was just about anybody else, I might take issue with it. Maybe. I don't know, and I'm not going to be the guy that comes on and speculates. I hate that stuff where people just say, oh, I know. You don't know anything, right? We don't know what's wrong with them. What I do know is this. He didn't miss a game from injury since 2016. Okay. If he could play, he would have played. And for anybody that's played any kind of sports at an elite level, you understand there's a difference between injured and hurt. If you're hurt, you can play. If you're injured, you can't play. Guys will play hurt. William Nylander, if he's 40%, does not help this team. Right? And if it took him 2 games to get back to 85%, where he is going to help this team, I'm okay with that. Right? An 85% William Nylander is still better than just about every other option. But I trust William Nylander. I think he's earned that from the fan base. He's whether you like the style of play he plays or you're critical of that, what I don't think you can count out or take for granted is his ability to be in the lineup. He's durable as hell. So, if it was somebody else, I might have a concern with Nylander. And you also have to to look at it from who William Nylander is, right? To use the Boston analogy again with baseball, when Manny Ramirez played for Boston and they were winning World Series, and Manny Ramirez was a different cat, they always said, you got to let Manny be Manny. And maybe for the Leafs, you got to let Willie be Willie, and just accept it's a newer age. It's a younger demographic. It's guys do things differently than, guys my age or guys Johnny's age would have back then. But I don't have a concern with it. I think Willie's going to be in the lineup and he's going to play great tonight.
Moving on. So someone that was missing practice today, but is confirmed to be playing. There's just a little scare earlier today because guys like Alex Freeman.
Remember we were on the chat together going, what do you mean he's not in the lineup?
Yeah.
What do you mean he's not on the lineup?
Might have been Mark Masters that reported first, or maybe Chris Johnson, but they said Matthews is absent from practice today. And as you can imagine, Leafs Nation was going insane.
Collectively, heart palpitations throughout the country. So no, he is confirmed to be in tonight. He'll be good to go. And again, that game, boy, if there was ever a time where you needed your number one guy to really come out and say, boys, get on my back and let's go, he was not going to be denied. Correct me if I'm wrong, 70% on the faceoffs, led the team in hits.
That line was something like a goal, 2 assists, 8 shots, 6 hits, which was the most in the game by any player. And then 70% on the faceoffs, and played nearly 24 minutes.
And I think he led I think he led in block shots too.
Probably.
It was one of those things where, like, when you actually watching the game, you saw how dominant he was. But when you looked at the numbers, you kind of did one of those, oh my God, that's a coming out party.
The most surprising part of it too was almost 24 minutes of ice time. Because usually it's the defensemen that are up there because there's 6 defensemen, 12 forwards. But to see him over Riley, Labushkin.
Listen, the guy's a horse. And, listen, all the love in the world to Austin Matthews. We are going to go as far as Austin Matthews is going to take us. No problems.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to see Matthews get up to that standard so early in the series. Hopefully Marner can catch up and produce on a similar level. And then if Matthews, Marner, and Nylander are on the same level.
Great to see Tavares get on the board too.
Yeah, for sure.
That's huge.
That was a huge goal too.
Huge. Massive.
Tying game.
Massive goal.
Finally scored on the power play.
Yeah. No, all good things. All good things. So I like where we are. I like where we're going. What else we got going on?
I'm just going to touch on Montgomery, the Bruins head coach, this morning. Did not seem too happy about. So basically, the Leafs game 3 is tonight in Toronto, so Wednesday, and then they don't play again until Saturday. So they have Thursday, Friday night off. It's a weird schedule to try to get Toronto, Boston, Hockey Night Canada Saturday night. So here's his quote. He said, "I think we're spending more time in Toronto than Toronto is spending in Boston. We're the home team." So he didn't seem too happy about.
What a muffin.
Yeah.
Just you know what? I will say this though. I will say this. This is very un-Boston. There's a lot of stuff going on here. If I'm the Leafs, that I'm loving. I'm loving Montgomery complaining about having to be in Toronto.
Yeah, that's something that you think Sheldon Keefe would say in past years.
Dude, 100%. And then to just show that we're in an alternate reality, Brad Marchand comes out after the game and says, this is really a different Toronto team that we've played the last few seasons. They're really good. They're really complete hockey team. What? From Brad Marchand? I think, from the coach and the captain, those are not things that you hear from a Boston team. That to me says there's some concern right now in that Boston dressing room about what's going on the other side of the ice. I love it. Couldn't happen to a nicer group.
Yeah, I just hope it's not something like the Paul Maurice or John Cooper mind games where they try to compliment the Leafs to try to get them off their game. Like, you know what I mean? Like in the past years, like Paul Maurice just
It's
came out and
worked
said,
too. In the
"Oh,
past few years, it's worked, right? So
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe they're doing Jedi mind tricks.
yeah," giving tire
Look,
pumps to the Leafs, and they get all overconfident coming to the game, trying to
the
be too
only
nice.
the only thing that I think is different about whether it's Tampa or Florida in years past, Tampa and Florida aren't Boston, right?
Right?
If Boston has been the Maple Leafs kryptonite, we haven't beat them since '59, right? Like, so let's
Yeah,
not pretend like there's some whatever. They're our kryptonite, and for them to all of a sudden be shifting gears, they're not coming into it with the swagger and the confidence. Like, yeah, we lost one, big deal. We're about to take you out in 5. That's what I expect to hear from Boston. Do you know what I mean? Like, no fear, no nothing. Get right in. Like, we're going to muck it up. We're going to come out. We're going to hammer you. We're going to do all those things. We're going to score at will. And instead, they're pumping our tires. And that's not Boston hockey. So that's a good
yeah.
sign. I take that as a good sign.
All right, that was the topics we had planned. Do you want to preview tonight's game?
Yeah, listen. I just quickly before we get on, San Jose, just as we were coming on air, fired their coach, Dave Quinn. So there's an opening there. And for those people that follow this stuff around the league, the Buffalo Sabres spoke to Michael J. Fox and have decided to go back to the future and have brought Lindy Ruff back for take dose in Buffalo. What do you think about Lindy coming back to Buffalo?
Yeah, I saw a post on their Instagram and comment like a picture was him shaking Alex Tuck's hand, who could be the future captain if not Dalian. But the comments seem really thrilled. I was a little surprised because usually when coach leaves, it's usually on bad terms, especially in Buffalo, not making the playoffs in so long. It's kind of bad blood usually, but I'm not too sure. When was he there last? Were they in the playoffs?
He was the last coach to take them to the playoffs, I believe.
Okay.
And that was close to a
Yeah,
decade ago. Although, maybe not. Maybe, what's his name? The guy who was there got fired. Ted Nolan.
oh, okay.
I think Ted Nolan might have got him to the playoffs once since then.
Hmm.
I could be wrong, but I'm in the wheelhouse, I think, there.
Okay. Yeah,
but
I think it was a good signing. Like,
and he
might
played
as
for
well try whatever
Buffalo,
you
so I
can.
mean, he knows the team and then everything else. And
Yeah.
listen, Lindy Ruff is a good coach,
Yeah.
right? They got a young team. They need an experienced guy who's
You saw
been
what
through
he
the
did
war.
with Jack Hughes, Nico Keisher, that young forward group in New Jersey
Yeah.
last year. This year's a bit of an anomaly, kind of.
Well, they didn't have a goalie. Like, let's be
No
honest.
goalie.
If
Doug
they had a
Hamilton's
goalie, they
out.
were okay, right?
Keisher and Hughes are both out, long spurts.
So, no, I like that. All right, so let me just check. Who do you like tonight, Nolan? What do you think's going to happen?
Gonna go with the Leafs again.
Yeah.
Little buys. I've gone with them every game. Usually do. As far as the score prediction, I'm gonna say Sammy has another good game. Back on home ice, Leafs win 4-1.
Wow, 4-1. Okay.
Yeah.
So Johnny Mac is not making a prediction live. Maybe we'll do an addendum maybe at a later date or something. We'll put up a graphic next time. What John would have said.
It's gonna be the exact score.
Yeah, of course. Oddly enough, he'll called every goal. It'll be perfect. I'm taking the Leafs tonight as well. I'm taking a 3-2 game. And I'm going out, man. Mitch Marner is going to get a goal and assist. The goal is going to be the game-winning goal, and all will be right in Leafdom. I really think so, guys. And as a city tonight, as a fan base, as frustrated as you might be with him, man, you got to get behind this kid. You've got to get behind this kid and push him, right? We need him to win. We need him to be at his best, right? You know, if it doesn't work out, and that's what a postseason autopsy is for. But right now, we're in the thick of it. We need to. If you're going to the game tonight, you got to get loud, get behind the boys. Let Boston know we're ready to go tonight. I'm feeling it. I feel good, Nolan. I feel confident going into the game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I got a good feeling too. This whole series too, it's kind of been a little weird. Usually coming into game one, especially, I'd be nervous all day, can hardly sleep the night before. And this year, maybe it's just because of how quick of a turnaround it was. Because usually there's like 4 or 5 days off
In
between.
between. Yeah, fair point.
This year's like Leafs played Wednesday and then they started Saturday, I think.
Yeah.
So didn't get much time to stress out and worry about it. So I don't know. Came in this year feeling a little confident more
Good.
than in
Me
years
too. I
past.
love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, special shout outs to Bjorn Hockey and Don Cherry Sports Grill for sponsoring us. And we will see you for game quattro when the Leafs are up 2-1.
Yeah. Go Leafs go.
Go Leafs go.